Welcome to the Silent Hill Creature feature with me, Skully the Metalhead. This is a series dedicated to educating Silent Hill fans and newcomers alike about the creatures of Silent Hill games past and present. Today's creature is going to be dedicated to a more recent creature in the Silent Hill universe. One that I feel is really underrepresented by the fans, if only because I just slag him as a ripoff of the famed Red Pyramid thing, or Pyramid Head if you're Canadian. Yes viewers, today we tackle the creature from Silent Hill Downpour known as the Bogeyman. No, unfortunately, it's not that kind of boogeyman, as funkalicious as it might have been. No, the bogeyman is this creature. Yeah, this guy. Apparently when he's not busy being Slipknot's DJ, Sid Wilson in his spare time goes off tormenting Murphy Pendleton. Truly an exciting life he leads. Just like last time on the show, we're going to take a look at this creature's design, symbolism, and strategies in order to beat it in the game, and as well as my general opinion on the creature itself. So with that in mind, let's take a look. The first appearance of the Bogeyman in Silent Hill Downpour comes in the form of the underground car park in the Centennial building, where you can catch a brief glimpse of the Bogeyman about to lay the smackdown on Pat Napier. From a design aspect, the Bogeyman's look is quite a simple one. A dark green hooded raincoat and a gas mask topped off with a cinder block sledgehammer. Actually, a fun bit of cultural trivia regarding his design is that the Bogeyman's look was heavily based on the Mediterranean creature known as the Bao. I'm not really too sure on how to pronounce that. But it describes a tale of a tall man with a heavy black coat and a hood which hides his face who haunts children who misbehave. Now replace the word misbehave with guilt, and I think you can see where some of the Czechoslovakian cultural influences play into Silent Hill Downpour. And people say that Silent Hill games after fall lack any cultural roots. Now, to the common Silent Hill fan, they'd take a look at this Slipknot DJ and just say that the creature is merely Pyramid Head with a serial code filed off and leave the creature at that. However, what many of them don't know is that the Bogeyman has quite a contrasting personality to its kin like the Red Pyramid and the Butcher. Unlike its predecessors, the Bogeyman's symbolism does not lie as a punisher like the Red Pyramid, and neither does it hold any symbolism of one's inner rage like that of the Butcher. But in fact, what the Bogeyman represents is a literal monster.
No shit.
And while that is a very base description of what the Bogeyman actually is, there's more to it than that. The Bogeyman is the personification of demonization. A representation of something you both fear and hate, which is personified by a figure obscured by a thick disguise. And here's where the legends of the Bao come into the fray. In Silent Hill Downpour, the creature is seen among two characters in the game, Murphy Pendleton and Anne Cunningham. To Murphy, the Bogeyman is both Pat Napier and himself. Throughout the game, the player comes to learn that the reason why Murphy was sent to prison in the first place was so he could exact vengeance upon Pat Napier, the pedophile who molested Murphy's son Charlie and drowned him in a lake, subsequently killing him. But getting back onto more relevant topics, the Bogeyman is also a reflection of Murphy himself, and I think this is where the confusion of the Bogeyman being a carbon copy of the Red Pyramid thing comes into the fray with most fans. Many assume that just because Murphy holds regret for his actions and his faltering will to avenge his son by killing Napier, they assume that, like the Red Pyramid, the Bogeyman represents Murphy's need to punish himself. This is not the case. Instead, what the Bogeyman means to Murphy is not punishment, but regret for his violent actions, knowing full well that no matter what he did to Napier, it would never bring Charlie back. But the key word here is guilt. Guilt for his mistakes in not being able to protect Charlie from Napier, as well as the guilt of having brutally harmed him at the expense of one of the few good cops left in Ryle State Penitentiary. And now we enter Anne Cunningham, the policewoman who constantly chases Murphy across Silent Hill, yelling and screaming at how she hates him because he killed a certain someone that won't be revealed until the end of the game, which of course turns out to be her father Frank Coleridge. What the Bogeyman is to Anne is how she sees Murphy. She demonizes him after Frank was beaten into a vegetated state by dirty cop George Sewell, in which Anne saw Murphy as a psychopath which rendered her father brain dead thanks to Sewell's manipulation. And it's because of this that Anne both hates Murphy for what he's done, as demonstrated through her determination to chase him throughout the game, yet she also fears him when she interprets him to be the Bogeyman at the end of the game, where you literally get to play as the Bogeyman! Woo! Ooh, yeah, take that, Silent Hill monsters, I'm the badass in charge now. So ultimately, the Bogeyman symbolism runs far deeper than, dare I say, even that of the Red Pyramid and Butcher combined. I can't name many things in the Tom Hewlett era of Silent Hill that got anything right, but if there's one thing they did arguably even better than Team Silent, I'd say it's the amount of rich detail they put within the Bogeyman symbolism. But let's head over to greener pastures and discuss tactics and strategy against the Bogeyman when going up against him in combat. The one time you face the Bogeyman in the game is when he rises out of the lake like Jason Voorhees as if he's on a trip to Manhattan. And it's during this fight where the only surefire way of beating him with relative ease is by blasting the fuck out of him with your shotgun.
I got a shotgun.
Just 2 rounds of the shotgun will do him in, and then you can finally finish him off by pressing the X button to grab his sledgehammer and quite literally slay your demons. And while it is true that you can use other weapons to defeat him, the fastest way is by shotgun, so if you happen to stumble across a shotgun on your journey, for the love of Samael, pick it up and save at least 2 shots for the boss fight, cause trust me, it'll come in handy. And now we reach the conclusion. What are my final thoughts on the Bogeyman? Well, as I've heavy-handedly alluded to in the symbolic part of this creature, out of all the big 3 evil mysterious creatures in the Silent Hill universe, when people say that the Red Pyramid thing is one of the most deep, twisted, and darkest creations the series has ever put out, I'd respectfully disagree. Because in my opinion, that honor goes right to Silent Hill Downpour's Bogeyman. Very rarely will you ever hear me praise something that the Tom Hewlett era of Silent Hill has done for the series, but I gotta give Vatra Games their props here, they really went all out for this creature. The inspiration they used, the simple yet diverse symbolism, and dare I say the subtle reveal of what this creature represents not only to Murphy, but to Anne Cunningham as well. Well, on that note, I'm Skully, keeping new metal, and next time on the Silent Hill Creature feature, we decide to visit our old friend Henry Townsend as our next creature is a wheelchair? See you next time.